Arrests of UK anti-royal protesters spur free speech debate. So I covered this a little bit yesterday, but there's an update in regards to the individuals that I talked about in an article yesterday. To my understanding, both people that were arrested and were in the media for being arrested have been charged. And so, I just want to talk about this. Like, even if there's no conviction, right? Like, I think people really don't understand, unless you've been through this experience, which I have, people don't really understand, like, being charged and then getting away with it is still such a fucking annoying process, right? So, like, the idea that someone holds up a sign and then they're going to have to go through legal battles, they have to hire a lawyer, right? They have to get harassed in the media, they have to be harassed on the phone, they have to show up to court 38 times, right? That is pretty fucking annoying, and it's a major disturbance. It is a major disturbance, and you don't get paid when you go to court. You don't get paid for your time. The state gets paid for their time, but it's actually the opposite, because often you have to take off of work, right? So, since the death of Queen Elizabeth II, a handful of people in Britain have been detained by police for expressing often bluntly anti-monarchy views. A woman in Edinburgh holding a sign reading "Fuck imperialism, abolish the monarchy" was charged with a breach of the peace. Oh no! A man faced the same charge after he heckled Prince Andrew as the Queen's hearse travelled through the Scottish capital. In Oxford, peace activist Simon Hill was put in handcuffs after he shouted his opposition during a ceremonial proclamation of the new king. Hill said he spontaneously called out who elected him because he objects to a head of state being imposed on the country. It's a good question. Quote, "I doubt most of the people in the crowd even heard me," he wrote on his blog. "2 or 3 people near me told me to shut up." Now imagine, I just want to tell you this, okay? Someone who's going to go to an event to watch the Queen's casket be like marched along, who's like, "Oh, the Queen, the Queen. Oh, the Queen, yes indeed." Like, you want to talk about people that are fucked up in the head. You want to talk about, like, granting additional funding to mental health in this country? I guess in that country, the UK. People that genuinely respect the monarchy get the straitjackets. I mean, Jesus fuck, right? Jesus fuck. Hill said he was put into a police van by officers who told him he was being detained for alleged behavior that could cause harassment, alarm, or distress. Quote, "The police abused their powers to arrest someone who voiced some mild opposition to a head of state being appointed undemocratically," he said. In London, a woman was moved from the gates of Parliament while carrying a "Not My King" sign. Police said she was removed from the spot where a police officer was stabbed to death by an Islamist attacker in 2017. Wait, what? 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 Okay. So, someone is standing on the sidewalk, and cops are like, "Oh, fuck. Did you know a cop was stabbed there 5 years ago?" What? What? Like, why? What is this reasoning? I'm going to read this again. In London, a woman was moved from the gates of Parliament while carrying a "Not My King" sign. Now this is the police statement. Police said she was removed from the spot where a police officer was stabbed to death by an Islamist attacker in 2017. To allow vehicles in, and was not asked to leave the wider area. What the fuck does... Why? What? What? I'm sorry. Lawyer Paul Powlesland said he was questioned by police outside Parliament on Monday while carrying a blank piece of paper. on which he too planned to write "Not My King." In footage shot by Pelsland, an officer is heard saying it may offend someone if he wrote the words. It may offend someone. What? It may offend someone? Really? Oh, wow. I love how, like, when I write "Not My King" on a piece of paper, well, it could be offensive. Police basically detaining people unlawfully? Oh, that's not offensive in the slightest. Someone being, like, crowned a king because they were just born into the right family? That's not going to offend someone. Imperialism? That's not going to offend someone. If the marker to detain someone is, they might be offending someone, I mean, let's start with the pedophiles and the fucking royal family. I'm just saying, if we're going to start somewhere, let's start with them. Because I don't know, man. I'd be pretty fucking offended if a cabal of fucking pedophiles that stole a bunch of fucking jewels from all across the planet and just kept all their money in the fucking king's fucking pockets, I would be pretty fucking pissed. In fact, some might even say I would be offended if they were to, I don't know, escape the 40% inheritance tax. Pelsland called the police behavior outrageous. The civil rights group Liberty said it was very worrying to see police enforcing their broad powers in such a heavy-handed and punitive way to clamp down on free speech and expression. Republic, a group that campaigns for the abolition of the monarchy, said it would be complaining to police in the strongest possible terms and would organize protests at the king's coronation in the coming months. Absolutely attend any and all of those demonstrations if you're in the area. Free speech is fundamental to any democracy, said spokesman Graham Smith, at a time when the media is saturated with fawning over a king appointed without discussion or consent. It is even more important. The arrests come after the government passed a contentious law and order bill that toughens police powers to limit disruptive protests. It is not clear whether any of the arrests involve the new law. Prime Minister Liz Truss's spokesperson, by the way, Liz Truss, who apparently said really bad things about the monarchy 20 years ago. Think about this. Liz Truss, someone that's saying the monarchy should be abolished in the 1990s. Now she's the prime minister. And now she's like, oh, the bloody queen is dead. Oh, no. Give me a fucking break. For the police to decide what is appropriate in individual circumstances. Oh, I trust the London police. Oh, I trust them. The same motherfuckers who covered up serial rape among their groups. The same motherfuckers who specifically target black people, Muslims, immigrants over and over again. Right? Yeah, I trust the London police. Oh, yeah. Totally trust them. They're going to do what they determine. The Queen's death has triggered one of the biggest security operations in British history. Some 500 royals, heads of state, or heads of government from around the world are expected at the late monarch's state funeral on Monday. Before that, hundreds of thousands are expected to line up in a queue, snaking through central London to see the... Could you imagine? Huge crowds already gathered near. Jesus fuck. Could you imagine? Like, again, reasons why I rethink my position on the death penalty. Motherfuckers that wait in line for 9 hours during a pandemic to see the Queen's dead body. Dumb motherfuckers. Speaking of dumb motherfuckers, I'm going to turn my attention to the chat real quick here. To equate Westboro Baptist Church protesting the funerals of people who died of AIDS, to people saying "not my king," right? I mean, like, I suggest anyone in the chat who's saying this, I'm not going to name names, I suggest you immediately call your therapist and book an appointment right now, because that is some fucked up shit. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, we're talking about a monarchy that invaded over 150 countries. We're talking about a monarchy that basically tried to dominate the world. Like, come the fuck on right now. Come on. Like, we're talking about people that stole a shitload of money, are never going to have to pay it back, and constantly steal from their own population. No one elected them. Right? They're a bunch of cousin fucking inbred pedophiles. I mean, come the fuck on. Come the fuck on. Elizabeth is not a nice lady. Like, again, give me your therapist number. I'm going to book an appointment for you. You need mental health care, Saul. I'm serious. Elizabeth is garbage. Every queen and every king are fucking garbage. And I will say this. I protested at the funeral of George H.W. Bush, and I'm fucking proud of it. Fuck George H.W. Bush, fuck the Queen, and fuck the idea that you can't protest at funerals. I don't give a fuck about George H.W. Bush's family. I will protest at that fucking stupid bitch's funeral, and I did when he died. I don't give a fuck about the Queen's family that all are multi-fucking billionaires. Oh, cry me a fucking river. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. This stupid fucking liberal, we must support the Queen. Jesus fucking Christ, man. That is some extremely unhealthy shit that you're hanging on to. But anyway, goddamn, arresting someone for a blank piece of paper, that's some crazy shit. I don't know what else to tell you. That's crazy shit. Jesus Christ.